This is the movie that countless netizens jokingly call a guide to quitting civil engineering. Love will tear us apart. It makes us realize that what destroys love might not be a change of heart or a third party, but rather the seemingly insurmountable down payment on a home. It's the harsh reality that hands busy lifting bricks can no longer embrace the one they love.
Just as we imagine there are flowers, arches, and a red carpet. White gowns and...
But you are simply not there.
It also tells us that in this complicated era, phrase being together seems simple. And in fact it isn't hard at all. What's hard is making I Want Us to Be Together a reality. Now let's dive into the 10-year romantic marathon between Liu Qinyang and Lin Yuyao to see how the boy who bet his life on love went from a resounding cry of "I have no regrets" to walking step by step into the endless snowfield that consumes everything. The story begins in a summer still lingering with the spirit of the new millennium. Liu Qinyang, a typical academic slacker from class 7 junior year, and his best friend Da Qiao idle their days away to them. The future was a distant and blurry concept, but their aimless lives were completely disrupted one afternoon. To help Da Qiao retrieve a game disc the teacher had confiscated, Liu Qinyang snuck into the empty staff office. There he met Lin Yuyao, the girl he would be entwined with for the rest of his life. At that time, Lin Yuyao was quietly listening to music through her headphones. The sudden intrusion of two uninvited guests startled her, and she hid behind the curtains in a panic. Qinyang followed the sound but saw no one, but he caught a glimpse of a pair of white shoes with cute smiley faces peeking out from under the curtains. It was this casual glance, the first time this young man's heart skipped a beat, because of a girl he barely knew. Seeing she could no longer hide, Lin Yuyao bolted out, leaving her Walkman behind on the table in her haste. This small cassette tape became the keepsake of their 10-year bond. Liu Qinyang picked it up and saw the label neatly marked English Compulsory Book 5. When he pressed play, it wasn't a dull lesson that came out, but a loving pop love song. At that moment, Liu Qinyang's perception of Lin Yuyao was completely transformed. It turned out the seemingly straight-laced top student also hid such a soft and romantic world within her. The tape serves as a poignant metaphor. The shell is the persona society and family expect her to be, while the inside holds the true emotions and freedom she craves. This is a true reflection of all our younger years. We have all, under the guise of compulsory courses, secretly guarded a small world of our own. From that day on, Lin Yuyao found a permanent place in Liu Qinyang's heart. He began an awkward but sincere pursuit. He wrote to her explaining he wasn't there to steal that day. He followed her like a shadow after school, keeping his distance but still being mistaken for a creep. He even played a prank on her. He swapped the love songs on the tape for actual English lessons, prompting an amused yet annoyed Lin Yuyao to shout, "Give me back my songs." This sentence officially set the stage for their story. What really moved Lin Yuyao was his blunt and passionate confession letter. That raw, unfiltered sincerity made her feel the joy of being taken seriously for the first time. Adolescent love is pure without a single trace of worldly compromise. They agreed to meet on the rooftop and Lin Yuyao rushed there excitedly, but in the hallway he accidentally bumped right into a teacher, scattering the love letters in his hand and getting caught red-handed. The school decided to make an example of him, requiring Liu Qinyang to deliver a public self-criticism. At the school assembly, everyone expected it to be a humiliating session of admitting fault. But for Liu Qinyang, it was the perfect opportunity to declare his love to the world. All eyes were fixed on him.
Do you regret what you've done?
In the classroom, Lin Yuyao also looked up nervously, waiting for an answer that would help her make her choice. Liu Qinyang took a deep breath and gazed firmly in Lin Yuyao's direction, and uttered those three words, "I don't regret it." This is the most passionate highlight of the entire story, perfectly embodying the essence of youth, brave, passionate, and fearless. From that moment on, Liu Qinyang personally shackled this pure love with the heavy chains of material responsibility. This seemingly noble promise would become the first boulder to crush him in the future. Zhao Kao acted as a ruthless watershed, pushing their fates in completely different directions. Lin Yuyao excelled, and was recommended to a prestigious university in Nanjing, and her future looked bright. Meanwhile, Lu Qingyang performed as expected and only got into a vocational college, choosing the grueling path of civil engineering, a life of exposure to the elements. From this moment, the gears of reality began to turn slowly, and the two who once walked side by side embarked on diverging social paths. Eager to start earning money and give Lin Yuyao a home, Lu Qingyang headed to a construction site in Zhoushan right after graduation. He witnessed the harshness of reality far sooner than his peers. Through powerful visuals, the film reveals the grim reality of the civil engineering industry. Late on a stormy night, he operates an excavator all by himself, just to earn an extra 200 yuan in overtime pay, as he feels it brings him one step closer to his dream of marrying Lin Yuao. But the towering crane sways precariously in the gale on the verge of crashing into a colleague. In the nick of time, without a second thought, Lu Qingyang lunges forward to push his colleague away, nearly getting crushed himself. Even after leaving campus, Lu Qingyang remains the same kind, brave, and responsible young man. Upon hearing the news in Nanjing, Lin Yuao, distraught, skips class and rushes to the hospital. When she pushes open the ward door, she finds only an empty bed and a suicide note.
If I die, please do not tell Lin Yuyao. If I live,
I will surely marry her. Lin Yuyao's world shatters instantly as she bursts into tears. But this was just a cruel prank played by Lu Qingyang. As he steps out from behind the door with a grin, Lin Yuyao first hits him in anger, then hugs him tightly, her lingering fear intertwined with heartache. This hospital prank serves as a crucial piece of foreshadowing full of tragic irony, predicts the ending in advance in an almost cruel way. The oath of life and death that Lu Qingyang utters so lightly now stands in stark contrast to his powerlessness in his final moments. He jokes with life, but reality will eventually respond with death for real. This narrow escape only serves to deepen their bond. Lin Yuyao decides to take him home to meet her mother. The acceleration of a relationship often begins with meeting the parents, but it is also where class differences are most bluntly exposed. When Lu Qingyang stepped into Lin Yuyao's home for the first time, he realized an insurmountable chasm lay between love and marriage. Lin Yuyao's mother is a typical middle-class parent. She isn't a total villain, merely a pragmatist whose worry for her daughter's future makes her appear cold and harsh. Facing Lu Qingyang, she remained cold-faced throughout the visit, scoffing at his enthusiasm and his plans for the future. Before the meal was even over, she effectively showed him the door.
Shaolin, you should head back early now that you finished. Don't want you getting caught in the rain.
These words, though seemingly caring, cut like the sharpest of knives, shattering Lu Qingyang's self-esteem. Outside the kitchen, he overheard the argument. Every mention of his lack of prospects, and you'll be the one suffering, pierced his heart like needles. Taking the hint, he excused himself and boarded the bus alone, dejectedly sending Lin Yuyao a farewell text. In that moment, it wasn't anger he felt, but a profound sense of helplessness. Just as the bus was pulling away, a familiar figure came chasing after it through the pouring rain. It was Lin Yuyao. Ignoring her mother's protests and wearing only slippers, she caught the bus soaked to the bone just to hand him a still warm chicken leg, her eyes filled with resolve. At this, Lu Qingyang could no longer hold back and pulled her into a tight embrace. To protect this girl and her unwavering love, he swore to give her a home in Nanjing, even if it cost him his life. In real life, countless couples face the daunting hurdle of meeting the parents' parental disapproval, especially when based on financial status, can be devastating. Many either give in or, like Lu Qingyang, silently bear the weight of the pressure, striving for success just to earn that validation. But Lin Yuyao wasn't choosing a man who already had a guaranteed future, but a man who was willing to build a future with her. This courage was the most radiant light in their relationship. For the sake of this promise, they rented a run-down little room in Nanjing. It was tiny with very poor soundproofing. Their furniture was scavenged from second-hand markets, but they filled every corner with love. Life seemed to be truly looking up for them. Yao got into graduate school and worked as a tutor to help make ends meet. Meanwhile, Qingyang became a site supervisor in Nanjing. But this seemingly stable job only dragged him into a deeper predicament. A site supervisor is meant to ensure the quality of a construction, but in an industry governed by complex social politics and favors, sticking to principles often meant being ostracized. To rush the schedule and cut costs, the contractors skimped on materials during concrete pouring. The principled Qingyang simply could not turn a blind eye, and resolutely refused to allow illegal concreting. This didn't just offend the foreman, even the mentor mentor he had always respected, pressured him to give in for the sake of profit. His integrity was met with unfair deductions from his paycheck.
You're always heading home. Be grateful we didn't withhold your entire pay.
Desperate to save for a down payment faster, he made a difficult decision. He moved into the construction site dormitory. From then on, the two were once again living in a long-distance relationship. Qianyang's professional struggles. Lee at the heart of why this film is called a warning for civil engineering students. It reveals the struggle of an idealist within a deeply flawed environment. His unwavering integrity was noble, but it left him battered and bruised, sowing the seeds for the tragedy that followed. Late one night, Yuao was followed on her way home. Terrified, she ran and called Qianyang. He rushed to her like a madman, finding his shivering girlfriend. The realization that he wasn't there when she needed him most. The overwhelming guilt nearly consumed him. To make amends and to bolster his own resolve, on that New Year's Eve he took Lin Yuao to an unfinished riverfront apartment. Nothing but a concrete shell. Outside were brilliant fireworks, inside were cold concrete walls. Embraced in that windowless building, watching the distant city lights, and made a lifelong vow. His scene reveals the deepest anxiety of today's youth. In our realistic world, a house is more than just a shelter. It represents security and the dignity to stand tall in the city. But fate always plays its cruelest joke just as hope appears. Get him to sign off on substandard work. The foreman and his mentor thrust a thick wad of cash at him. This money was enough to solve his immediate financial crisis. At the dinner table, the foreman cryptically suggested that mutual favors would pave a smoother path. Clutching his glass, Liu Qianyang faced a fierce internal moral struggle. Ultimately, he remained that same principled boy in a drunken haze. He stuffed the money back into his mentor's pocket. He maintained his integrity, but it meant being completely ostracized at the site. An even greater crisis struck when Yu Yao's mother was suddenly hospitalized. When Liu Qianyang rushed to the hospital covered in mud, he found that everything had already been taken care of. Luo Tinju, Yao's wealthy childhood friend from a privileged background, had effortlessly arranged an expensive private suite, and while Mother Lin showered Xiao Luo with praise, she was dismissive. When introducing Liu Qianyang,
This is Xiao Lu, Yao's high school classmate.
Those words, high school classmate, were like a blade, shredding Liu Qianyang's last bit of dignity. He looked at his glamorous rival, then at his own mud-covered body. Having nothing to his name, he was consumed by shame. He walked out of the ward in silence and sat in the cold stairwell, taking fierce bites of the cold pancake, swallowing all his grievances, anger and bitterness, forcing them all down. Yao followed him out without saying a word. She just leaned quietly on his shoulder and ate with him until he finished. Her companionship was comforting, but it couldn't mend the crushing blow of the class divide. Life's pressures came one after another just as Liu Qianyang hit rock bottom. His friend Qiao brought a seemingly life-changing opportunity. Liu Qianyang seized the chance, becoming a foreman through his expertise, and brought in his former fellow workers. He invested all his savings, covering all the upfront costs. Just when he thought things were looking up, fate played another cruel joke on him. His most trusted friend, Qiao, lost everything speculating on futures, and ended up absconding with all the project payments. The client demanded the investment back, plus triple the liquidated damages. Overnight, Liu Qianyang went from being a hard-working young man to a man buried under a mountain of debt. Lin Yiyao knew nothing of this yet. Seeing her best friend Qian receive an engagement ring from Qiao, she too began to think about marriage. She secretly took her hukou book from home, wanting to surprise Liu Qianyang. She felt that even without a house, she was ready to marry him. That night in that dimly lit rental, she tested the waters with hope.
Qiao and Qian are getting married. Did you know?
And how about we join them?
Sure, let's just do it. I'm fine with that.
Under normal circumstances, these words would have been everything Liu Qianyang ever dreamed of. But at this moment, they became the final straw that broke him. How could he possibly not want to marry her? But now, buried in debt, how could he provide a home for her? Or even a decent wedding? Liu Qianyang reached a total breaking point. His deep-seated insecurity and a sense of responsibility clashed violently. He felt that getting married while having nothing to his name was a betrayal of his promise to provide her with a happy life.
Are we getting married or not? Say something. I'm asking you, are we getting married? Yes or no?
This argument was the ultimate collision of their conflicting views on love. Lin Yao's love is about presence as long as we are together. While Lu Qinjiang's love is about providing, he couldn't face a future where they lacked basic financial security. To avoid dragging Lin Yao down with him, and to clear his debts, Lu Qinjiang made an agonizingly cruel decision. He reached out to third uncle, the man who first brought him into the industry, and agreed to go to a desolate patch of the Gobi Desert in Xinjiang to work on a wind power project. In exchange for several years of hard manual labor, his uncle would lend him the money to settle his immediate debts. Moving to Xinjiang meant leaving Nanjing and Lin Yao for years. With his very survival uncertain as he was about to board the train, Lin Yao finally learned the truth from a friend. She called him desperately, her mind racing.
So what if it's Xinjiang? I'll wait for you. I'll just pretend you're joking.
On the other end, Lu Qinjiang's heart was breaking, but he could only grit his teeth and through the noisy station announcements force out the most painful words.
I'm sorry. This time I'm not joking.
He squeezed onto the departing train, and in a corner where no one would notice, he broke down and sobbed. This leaving for your own sake is a highly controversial form of self-sacrifice. He underestimated Lin Yao's resolve to weather the storms by his side, yet overestimated how much distance a relationship could endure. He thought he was being noble, but he only left Lin Yao with a long and hopeless wait. Bravery isn't about running away to a far-off land, it's about daring at your lowest point, to show your vulnerability to your lover and trust that she will still choose you. He could have legally shared assets and debts, becoming a true union both legally and emotionally. Instead, he pushed away his only ally with his own hands. 3 years passed in a flash. The winds and sands of Xinjiang weathered Lu Qinjiang, deepening his weariness. He had turned himself into a mere working machine. With poor signals in the Gobi Desert, he habitually dialed the number engraved in his heart, only to be met with silence every time. Meanwhile, Lin Yao, following her family's arrangements, became a numb bank teller. She lived a routine life, preparing to marry someone she didn't love. Time had faded their final connection, but it couldn't erase the deep-seated image of him in her heart. Until the eve of the wedding, Lu Qinjiang, far away in Xinjiang, finally received that familiar yet distant phone call. On the other end, Lin Yao's voice trembled with a forced composure. That voice completely pierced through Lu Qinjiang's hardened facade of the past 3 years. He desperately climbed to a high point for a signal, listening to her tearful plea.
Xinjiang, I'm getting married.
It's just as we imagined. There are flowers, arches, and a red carpet. There's the white dress and the black tuxedo. But you're not here.
I want to see you. I said I want to see you, Yao.
Back at the school disciplinary assembly, in front of thousands of people, you said you'd work hard to give Lin Yao the happiest life.
You also said you didn't regret it. I never regret it, Yao.
I just want you on my side. That's the happiness I want.
Yao. Every day I spend here is agonizing. I shouldn't have left 3 years ago. I should have been braver. Wait for me, I'm coming back right now.
He finally understood that this short few-minute phone call had rekindled their love, which had been frozen by reality for 10 years. Lu Qinjiang spent 10 years trying to trade material success for the right to love, only to realize at this very moment that the essence of love is simply being together. They agreed to meet at Jiaguan Station. Lu Qinjiang dropped everything, jumped into a beat-up car, and drove toward their meeting point like a madman. This was the first and last time in his life he recklessly rushed toward love itself. But he didn't expect that a sudden blizzard was brewing over the Gobi Desert, swallowing the vast wasteland in an instant. The temperature plunged and his car broke down in the snow. The wind swept his map away, disoriented. He was trapped in this frozen death trap. Meanwhile, Lin Yao stood on the freezing platform at Jiaguan, waiting from day until night, and from night until dawn. Just as she was losing all hope, a familiar figure emerged, covered in wind and snow. In the end, they really did return to Nanjing and finish the Riverview apartment, holding a grand wedding with all their friends and family there to offer blessings. Lin Yao looked ethereal in her snow-white wedding dress, but as Lu Qinjiang excitedly pushed open the doors to the wedding hall, all he saw outside was a boundless white wilderness of snow. It turns out this was all just a vision in the final moments of his life as he lay dying in the snow. A moment of the most beautiful illusion he wove for himself. When his coworkers found him, he had already frozen to death in the storm, still clutching his phone tightly, a single frozen tear hanging from the corner of his eye. Meanwhile, at the distant Jiaguan railway station, Lin Yao, who had waited all night, felt her phone suddenly vibrate repeatedly. It was a message from Lu Qinjiang. At first she was ecstatic. But as the messages delayed by the poor signal, vague yet sounding like a final farewell, came flooding in one after another, her heart sank into the frozen depths of despair. The last one was his final apology. This 10-year marathon of love ended in the most tragic and heartbreaking way possible.
If I die, please don't tell Lin Yao. If I live, I will surely make her my wife.
After watching this movie, the overwhelming feeling is one of suffocation and helplessness. There were no moral failings or betrayals in Lu Qinyang and Lin Yao's love. They loved each other deeply. Until the very end, they simply lost to reality. A 10-year journey, they outrun time, but they couldn't outrun reality. The most painful regret isn't I don't love you, but rather I gave it my all, yet I still couldn't give you the future you deserve. But if we only focus on cursing reality, we miss what this film is truly trying to tell us. Greatest risk in a relationship isn't facing hardships together, but rather missing the chance to face them together. The moment you choose to walk the path alone, you've already lost your way. It serves as a profound lesson teaching us that true love isn't about what I did for you, but about what we endured together. Don't wait until the signal is lost to say I love you. Don't wait for the blizzard to fall before seeking the warmth of an embrace. And may we all, through this heartbreaking story, learn how to love better, transforming every eye in our lives into a walking side by side.